Hey everybody, Tuesday Acres. Welcome to our Mystery Tool Monday. It's not really a mystery, but it was definitely new to me when I found it. Now I don't know how I ever didn't have it. I'm doing a project right now where I need to drill some holes to mount on it's called a Wilton power arm, or strong arm, power arm I think. And I want to make sure that my holes are lined up exact. Sure, I could just over drill it and mark it through here, but let me show you what these things are. They're really cool. All right, so these things are called transfer screws. Obviously, they need to come in different sizes. They're basically mini threaded punches. The back cap pops off, and then these are the actual punches themselves. And you can see they've got a little punch right on the edge of the threads there. And then the body, the case, if you will, is actually the tool that you use to drive in the transfer screw. So in this project, I'm using a 5/16 thread, so that's what we got here. Again, we'll just pop the back off, dump the guys out. I only need 2, but all right, so same thing. It's got a little punch on the end of the thread there, and it's also a little hex drive on there, okay? So what I'm gonna end up doing is putting 2 of these guys in my power arm, I don't know what that would be called, but the threaded holes there, okay? And then you take your piece that you need to put the punches on, put it in position, give it a whack with a hammer, and boom, now you have perfectly aligned punch marks. I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and I'll just play little clips throughout the process. Hopefully everybody can see what they are. All right, so this dude here is called a power arm, and basically it's just a little fixture that you can use for holding materials while you're welding, right? Well, what most people do is they take a little chunk of angle iron, mount it on here, and then you can use a clamp to mount your work to it. And then you use this to position it in any direction you want. So really handy. And you could obviously just, reach in there with a pencil or a scribe, make your holes, and I would probably just, drill it over maybe a 1/16 or so. No big deal, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but for this demonstration, it's just to use these actual transfer punches. So I'm gonna get 2 of these transfer punches out, make sure that the tips are in decent shape. Sometimes they get worn down. I'm gonna go ahead and install them into the head unit here, or the armature. And fortunately, the angle iron that I'm using to do this is aluminum. I just didn't see any reason to use steel, and just makes it easier. Just so you can see, I just have those punches sticking out of them holes, those threaded holes, maybe a 30-second. Very, very little. All we need is to get a center mark for our drilling. I've already marked a center line on my piece, so I can line it up. All right, so it's tough to see, but right there in front of my finger, and right there next to my finger, those are my 2 punch marks. Now it's perfectly aligned. All right, we'll start off with a pilot hole. Now we're 15/16 hole. We'll deburr these right quick, pull out our transfer screws. So as far as the holes lining up, they really couldn't get any better. One thing I did bump into here is that the inside kerf, the bolt head ends up hitting it. So I'm not gonna be able to use that bolt. I do have some button head Allen socket bolts, and we'll use that instead. And I'll probably just go ahead and drill out just a smidge there so I get a nice flat seat. All right, so there we go, perfect alignment. The transfer screws work pretty good for this. Obviously you can use a pencil, or what some guys do is they just take the screw itself and go ahead and shave off the top here. You can either put it like in a drill press or whatever and shave that down to make a nice sharp point. And then you can use that, or you can use all thread and do the same thing with it. You could even take all thread and cut a small piece off of it, put a slit in one end where you can use a screwdriver, and then have a sharp point on the other side. So there's obviously many ways. You don't absolutely have to have these, but they sure are handy and convenient. So next week I'll be going over these Wilton power arms. Pretty cool gadgets here. And thanks for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe. We'll catch you next week.